Hello, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this audio, but I'm just rehearsing. I wanted to talk about this poem I wrote. It's called Half of Me. Yeah, I think if I'm going to edit this video, I'm definitely going to add screen edits, I mean visual edits as well. So you might be able to see the poem in front of you right now. Yeah, the poem, okay, I hope you are able to hear me clearly because there's music in the background and I really wanted to let me focus and enjoy a vibe while talking to you guys. I don't know who's gonna listen to this, but yeah, you guys. The poem is called Half of Me, and it's essentially about myself and my different parts and different versions of me. I don't want to explain too much yet, but let's get into the poem. Yeah, okay, yeah. In a graveyard buried myself I found. Honestly, I didn't like that beginning because I don't like having a very definite or a sharp imagery to begin with. It's like you just begin and you have a definite setting that you have to imagine. I don't like to confine the reader's thoughts to that one setting that I create in the first few lines. It's like I like to create a vibe or an atmosphere in the poem more than any imagery in the beginning. So I didn't like the idea that I immediately talked about a graveyard. But then I like the concept. The concept is supposed to be eerie. So, in a graveyard buried myself, I found in tombs of glass underneath the ground. Okay, yeah, here I'm aware that it's not one tomb I'm talking about. In one graveyard, there's multiple tombs. You can imagine this. And I don't need you to imagine this, but in tombs of glass underneath the ground. I found in multiple tombs. I'm not talking about one specific one where I found myself and it's like, oh, I found myself in a tomb in the graveyard. No, it's multiple tombs because I like the idea that it's not just one half of me, it's multiple pieces of me from different times of my life, different versions of me that have died and have been born again and again. And in a graveyard buried myself I found in tombs of glass underneath the ground. In tombs of glass. And this image is important because I am able to see myself, I am able to see the other half of me while I am talking. So it's just essentially me talking to my own self, as in not my own self, but like my other half, or just my own self. Technically it is my own self. Screams I heard but devoid of sound. This is just me trying to just make it very eerie because you know when you go to a graveyard, you know that the corpses aren't really happy and they are just they are there and you wouldn't know. It's like they're screaming but you can't hear them, and lay half of me stone cold but sound. You know that they are stone cold and lifeless, but they look so sound. They look like they're asleep and resting. But yeah, that's the whole vibe. Then we go with the second stanza. When half of me loved half of you, loved so many but few. Line of the second stanza. When half of me loved half of you, it's me talking to myself, and me telling myself that I loved a portion of you, and a portion of me loved a portion of you, essentially. And it's just me conversing with my own self. When half of me loved half of you, loved so many but few. This is the one line that I don't want to stick around on around. I looked at you into and through, yet found nothing that belongs to you. And this is supposed to be about myself, as in I looked at myself, into myself, and through my soul, and I found nothing that belonged to myself. Why? Because it's around the idea that I become a little part of who I am talking to at the given time. For example, if I'm speaking to a person who is a certain kind, my mom walked in and scared the living daylights out of me. I don't remember where I was. Hold up. My entire flow is gone. Okay, we were talking about. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back. I. I'm gonna reread the portion I was talking about. Yeah. I looked at you into and through, yet found nothing that belonged to you. This is me again speaking to my own self and saying that I looked into you and everything. I looked around inside you and I found nothing that was yours. I found nothing that was you. And this one connects directly back to the fact that I never felt like I was being myself in college. Essentially, that in college I never felt like my real self, or like a particular self. So the point is that I never felt like myself. I had become a little bit of someone I knew, a little bit of someone, a friend, a little bit of someone I talked to, and all of it just became a little portion of me, and I didn't find myself at all. I did feel like my real self was suppressed. I did for a long time felt like I was not being able to be myself. So a massive part of me was just hidden behind this new facade that had come up with the fact that I had become CR all of a sudden. And that is why I said that, hey, I looked at you into and through, yet found nothing that belonged to you, because you weren't yourself. You were not yourself. You were someone else. You were a bit of everyone. You're a bit of everyone and not yourself. So that's the second stanza. And the third stanza, I am breathing really loud, honestly. This is thrilling. Okay, let's just imagine no one's gonna listen to this. I'm not even gonna be nervous. I am not nervous. I'm fine, okay? Okay. Sweet words like candy fog, they blinded me. Tongue-cold lies like beads from a rosary. This is the little bit of imagery that I like. This was, I was reading back on this poem. I wrote this like a month ago, and I was appreciating it like last night, or like day before last night. I really liked the imagery over here. Imagine beads from a rosary just falling out of the string, and sweet words is basically lies, because lies blind you, and fog is what blinds you, and candy is sweet. I don't know, it's pretty nice. I've never read a metaphor for lies be so pretty. Like sweet words like candy fog, they blinded me. Tongue-cold lies like beads from a rosary. No water to the fire to put me out of my misery. There's nothing to explain here. It's just one sentence. No water to the fire to put me out of my misery. Enlighten me then. How can you love me if you don't know me? So this is again me connecting back to the fact that if any friends, for example, if I had a friend who would say that, hey, I love who you are. You don't. Always this defense used to be, or that you don't know me. How can you love me? As in, I was always a different person in college. I was not being my real self. But how can you love me if you don't know me? And this has been constant in college for a long time. It's a bit different now, because I have tried to be more. I'm trying to give myself more time, and trying to talk to myself more often, and being with people who make me feel like myself, and distancing from people who don't. So this was written a month back, mind you. Okay, so that was 3 stanzas. I am glad we are almost done. No full moons in the skies. Okay, 4th stanza. No full moons in the skies. We are made of halves. Again, a half of me and another half of me. It's like, okay, this is a little secret. There was a long time I used to think I was divided in 2 inside of me, and I still think that to some extent, but I'm trying to fix it, so I don't still believe it. But I mean, what am I trying to say? Okay, so it's like 2 characters inside of me, right? And these 2 characters are, one of them hates the other one, and one of them is in love with the other one. So that's basically half of me. The entire concept is just a version of me talking to a version of me. And no, I'm not saying it's character 1 talking to character 2. It's just a mixture of both. So yeah, no full moons in the skies, we're made of halves, cotton out of pillows, stone cold under the stars. But again, cotton out of pillows sounds really, like it connects with the whole cotton candy feel. But if you think about it, in the setting that is given, that is a graveyard with dead bodies and corpses, cotton out of pillows sounds really gross. Cotton out of pillows, it's a very eerie thing, and that is the my metaphor for what was a part of me not being a part of me anymore. Like the cotton out of my personality was taken out. Technically, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say here. Cotton out of pillows, stone cold under the stars. Like I am no longer myself. I am stone cold, but sound still, that I mentioned, under the stars. in the graveyard, again connecting to the whole scene setting, the scenario. When there's none of me in you and minutes are like hours. When there's none of me in you. Guys, I really hope that you were able to understand that mention of glass in the first stanza was supposed to be a mirror, right? Like in terms of glass underneath the ground. So when I'm talking to myself, I'm not just looking at my other half, I am looking at an image of my own self as well, because it's a mirror. It's like a glass, right? It's like, yeah, it's a glass. So you will not just see the thing across of it, behind it. You're right. So it's not just that you are seeing what is behind the glass, you're also seeing a little reflection of yourself. So you're not just talking to the other half, you're also talking to your own self. So it's like you're collectively speaking to yourself. When there's none of me in you, when there's no reflection, technically, there's no reflection in the glass. And when is that time going to be? When the moon is not behind me or above me, is when the reflection is going to disappear. So it's the whole system. It's like a very functioning setting in my head. I don't know how I'm going to explain it better. I'm getting nervous. But when there's none of me in you, basically when the moon has also left the sky. And minutes are like hours, again connecting to the time idea. And we are left with nothing that's ours. That's basically me not being any of me anymore. Me becoming something I never was. Me becoming something that is not me. And we have nothing in common anymore. It's both of me talking to myself and finding nothing that was in common and nothing that was myself. That was the whole poem. I want to read it again and see if I missed out any point. Half of me in a graveyard buried, myself I found in tombs of glass underneath the ground. Screams I heard but devoid of sound. Lay half of me stone cold but sound. When half of me loved half of you, loved so many but few. I looked at you in through and through, yet found nothing that belonged to you. Sweet words like candy fog, they blinded me. Tongue-cold lies like beads from a rosary. No water to the fire to put me out of my misery. Enlighten me then, how can you love me if you don't know me? Here again, the lies is supposed to be, okay, I never told you what the lies were. The lies were, again, pretentiousness. Not exactly pretentious, that's just inherently bad. But it's being someone you're not. It's being a certain way with someone else, being a certain way with someone else. And I know that it is a very normal thing when you have multiple friends, you act differently with each friend. But that's not the point. It's like you forget who you are. So yeah, it's normal to be different with different friends, but it's not okay if you just completely forget who you really are. It's not okay if you think that a half of you is suppressed all the time. It's not okay if you forget who you were in reality. It's not okay when you start to mold yourself into their perception of you. And that's a very strong line I've written in my journal as well, and I really want people to understand that yeah, it's okay to try to vibe together and just be friends, but if you start to mold yourself into their perception of you, it is bad. You are going to forget who you really are. You're not going to be yourself anymore. Okay. No full moon in the skies. We are made of halves, cotton out of pillows, stone cold under the stars. When there's none of me in you, and minutes are like hours, and we are left with nothing that's ours. It's a beautiful poem. I like it. I'm so glad I was able to talk about it. I really hope I edit this video without cringing at my own voice. No, I don't hate it. It's just sometimes I overthink. Yeah. Also, if I get to show this exact image in the video, I am pointing out the fact that this scroll bar is in halves. I'm going to explain why that is. See, in general, the thing that I use to edit my I have to show you this thing. This is the thing that I use where I write, and this is the thing that I take a screenshot of, and then I edit a little bit, and then I post it. And the size does not change. You can't expand it. You can't exactly pull it. And make it bigger. So what I had to do with this poem was that I didn't just write one part of it and take a screenshot. I had to write another part of it, as in the last stanza, again, and then take another screenshot of that. So that is why I had two screenshots, and I had to layer them on top of each other and then blend them in, basically. And that is why there was a little glitch at the end, the scroll bar thing. And I was really tired editing that for an hour, and I just decided not to do anything with it. And that again, accidentally, I know, but it kind of contributes to the lore, as in there's half of me up there and half of me down here. It's really beautiful. I like it. Okay, that was it. I hope you liked it, and I really wish to do more of these. As in, I've recently been writing very nice poems with many meaningful lines in there. It's not just aesthetically dumped words in a sequence that is attractive. No, it's not just words dumped together to look aesthetic. All of it has a meaning. Every little, even a little full stop means something. Yeah, I'm glad I was able to do this. Anyway, I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye bye. Bye. Hello, this is me way in the future after editing the entire video. I suddenly had a realization that told me I have probably ripped apart the entire poem way too much, and I would request all of you, if whoever ends up listening to this, please go ahead and read the poem one last time so that you can have a taste of it, other than just my explanation, because the after you explain these things, it's like the I do know that if you do not understand something, you are still able to admire it without understanding, right? So it's not that almost feels wrong, to be honest. Like, personally, it feels wrong to like something without understanding it. So I just always had this thought that I want people to understand my poems in the way that I really write it, but I just suddenly felt that maybe I have done it too much this time. I'll keep that in mind next time, but I just want to request you to go ahead and read the poem one last time, so that you have a different last taste of it. Like, I want you to just for a moment forget that it's all about me, and you can just read it and just appreciate the skill. Maybe I don't know what it is, the poetry in there. It's not just the meaning that is beautiful. I want the poem to be nice on its own as well. So please go ahead and read it one last time. Okay, bye bye.